Good evening and welcome to the Icu Tv main news. Let's take a look at the stories that are making headlines. 2-year-old girl perishes in Lusangazi house fire. President Boko highlights regional unity and climate resilience at Zambia's 97th Agricultural Show. NCZ fertilizer equipment set for completion by August 17. And in international news, Trump fires lead official on economic data as tariffs cause market drop. And on the sports front, Warner fires Ashes jibe at England's route. With the news in detail, my name is Maluwa Eric J. Mwanamujende. A devastating house fire in Kandea village, located in Chief Nyampande's area of Lusangazi district, has resulted in the death of a 2-year-old girl. Eastern Province Police Commissioner Robertson Mwemba confirms that the fire started at approximately 20 hours last night. The child, identified as Given Lungu, became trapped inside the house after her parents, Ruth Tembo and Michael Lungu, reportedly fell asleep with the lit brazier still burning inside. It is suspected that the brazier ignited a nearby curtain, causing the fire to spread rapidly throughout the home. According to Mr. Mwemba, the parents managed to escape through a bedroom window, but were unable to rescue their daughter, who was consumed by the flames. Both parents sustained injuries and were transported to Petauke District Hospital for treatment. President Advocate Duma Boko of Botswana today attended the 97th Agricultural and Commercial Show in Lusaka, where he highlighted the critical role of agriculture in driving economic growth, community resilience, and inclusive development. In his keynote address, President Boko underscores agriculture's central importance in securing basic human rights and supporting dignified livelihoods, and emphasizes that climate change as a global challenge requires coordinated, intelligent, and sustained regional responses. President Boko notes the ongoing collaboration between Botswana and Zambia, particularly through regional frameworks such as the Southern African Development Community (SADC), aimed at promoting agricultural development and addressing climate challenges. He states that both countries are working toward building export-oriented agricultural economies that promote regenerative and equitable growth. President Boko emphasizes the importance of empowering young people, whom he described as the climate generation, by ensuring greater access to land, finance, training, and cross-border opportunities to drive agricultural innovation. He also acknowledges farmers as frontline defenders against climate change and called for strong technological, financial, and political support, while commending Zambia's agricultural sector for its resilience and success in regional seed exports.
I stand before you today with great humility, joy, honor, and privilege, invited not only as a guest, but a fellow African and brother, devoted to the shared future of our two nations. I bring with me fraternal greetings from the people of Botswana and their enduring admiration for the people of Zambia. I must also thank the people of Zambia for the hospitality, the warmth, and the love that they've given to us since we arrived here yesterday. This show, under the theme Adapting to Climate Change, speaks to an existential challenge, one that is no respecter of borders, class, or generation. Climate change is not just a distant menace. It is a present reality that calls on our nations and all nations of the world to take practical steps to mitigate its devastating effects. We gather here today not to rehearse despair, but to renew commitment, an unwavering commitment.
And meanwhile, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema reaffirms his administration's commitment to empowering local and regional enterprises as central pillars of national economic development. He highlights government investments in irrigation agriculture as part of broader strategies to enhance climate resilience and food security. As a gesture of goodwill, the Agriculture and Commercial Society of Zambia, together with its partners, donated 500 bags of fertilizer and 1,200 kilograms of maize seed to Botswana's President Mokwetsi Masisi in recognition of Botswana's contribution to regional cooperation. President Hichilema expressed heartfelt appreciation for President Masisi's presence at the event and applauded exhibitors for their innovation and resilience amid evolving agricultural challenges.
Of this Zambia Agriculture and Commercial Society, and indeed all the farmers, the business people, sponsors, exhibitors, especially those that have had to travel from outside Zambia. We thank you for your support, but also the local exhibitors as well, and who, by and large, are small, micro, small, medium farmers, large farmers. We've been invited to also come and exhibit here, but most of our production comes from our small-scale farmers. So we want to thank all the farmers for what you've done coming out of the drought last year, which decapitated us, but this year you came on strong, and we have the largest yield since independence. Thank you to the farmers of Zambia. Thank you to the farmers of Zambia. We now need to focus on irrigation so that the climate change ravages can be mitigated appropriately. Today, we have a special guest of honor for this show, President of Botswana. And Mr. President, I already touched on this. We're so grateful for your time from yesterday when you arrived to today now at this show, the stands that you toured. We are so grateful. We don't take that for granted. We want to thank the people of Botswana for allowing you to come and grace this show as our guest of honor. And we look forward to your speech, your message, wonderful messages that you give. I do follow your statements around when you issue them to the people of Botswana. But a number of the issues you raise, Mr. President, also speaks to our situation in Zambia and beyond Zambia and Botswana, SADC, and Africa and the world as a whole. But, Mr. President, because this is an agricultural and commercial show, I have been asked on behalf of the show and indeed friends, farmers, commercial enterprises to encourage you and your family or someone you choose to donate to be able to donate to you, Mr. President, today 250 by 50 kgs of basil dressing fertilizer to you, Mr. President. As farmers, we know basil dressing is not enough. We need top dressing. So a similar quantity, 250.
This year's show attracted a record of 1,985,000 exhibitors, including 24 international participants, reinforcing Zambia's position as a growing center for agricultural innovation, trade, and regional collaboration. The 97th Agricultural and Commercial Show served as a platform to celebrate progress in agriculture, promote regional unity, and reaffirm commitments to sustainable development and climate action across Southern Africa. The installation of a new granulating and blending machine at Nitrogen Chemicals of Zambia (NCZ) is scheduled for completion by August 17, 2025. Currently at 90% completion, the new equipment is expected to double the plant's decompound fertilizer production capacity from 70,000 to 140,000 metric tons annually. NCZ Operations Manager Abike Musonda noted that the blending unit alone will be able to produce up to 288,000 metric tons of fertilizer per year. She highlights that the modern technology incorporated in the machinery will allow for the formulation of fertilizer blends tailored to specific soil types and nutrient requirements. Ms. Musonda adds that this upgrade is poised to strengthen national food security and enhance the company's ability to serve both domestic and export markets. We go on a short break. We'll be right back with more of our local stories.
The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. We continue with the news. The Zambia NGO Watch Forum has been cautioned to understand the provisions of the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act to avoid unintentionally breaking the law. Forum coordinator Bubala Muyovwe Mumba has emphasized that ignorance of the new regulatory framework could expose organizations to legal risks. She highlights concerns over vague definitions and increased surveillance powers impacting NGO operations. Meanwhile, University of Zambia senior law lecturer Dr. O'Brien Kaba explains that the new act modernizes the legal framework, criminalizing cyber offenses and aligning with international standards. However, he has expressed concerns over potential mass surveillance and infringement on privacy rights. And Free Press Initiative Programs Manager Nyambejere warned that the act poses threats to media freedom and public's access to information, while Zambian Cybersecurity Initiative Foundation President John Chinseki highlighted concerns over lack of capacity and technical know-how among law enforcement. The commandant of the School of Infantry, Colonel Habasune Mpenzele, has praised the student soldiers of Intermediate Class 3 of 2025 for successfully completing the Skill at Arms SAA course. During the official closing ceremony held yesterday at the School of Infantry, Colonel Mpenzele acknowledged the efforts of the graduates, including 2 female soldiers, for fulfilling all course requirements. He urges the newly trained instructors to put their acquired skills into practice and share their knowledge within the units to promote ongoing learning and operational effectiveness. Meanwhile, Course Senior Warrant Officer Class 2, Chipito Elvis, has also expressed gratitude to the school, stating that demanding program had shaped the participants into competent and modern instructors. The Intermediate Class 3 2025 commenced training on 14th April and concluded the course on 1st August 2025. Well, we go on a short break. We come back with more with our international and sports news rather.
Did you know that mental health conditions are treatable and recovery is possible? Hi, I'm Ngenia Febamoyo. I'm your host on Let's Talk Mental Health. I invite you all to this show where you freely express yourself and together we find a solution. For more details, you can contact 0777 93 73 92 and we'll be there to help you find solutions to whatever you're going through.
Well, you are still watching the Icu TV main news, and now in international news. US President Donald Trump has fired the boss of one of America's most important economic institutions hours after weaker than expected jobs data stoked further alarm about his tariff policy. On social media, Trump claimed that Erica McEnteffer, Commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics (BLS), has rigged jobs figures to make the Republicans and me look bad. The unprecedented move by the White House sparked accusations that Trump was politicizing economic data. The Senate's top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, said the president was a bad leader who shoots the messenger for weak statistics. US stock markets were rattled on Friday after Trump, a Republican, forged ahead with his plans to raise important tariffs on goods from countries around the world. Figures were then released by BLS showing that employers in the US added just 73,000 jobs in July, far below forecasts of 109,000 new roles. Still in international news, a former prime minister of Mali, which is now under military rule, has been charged with undermining the credibility of the state over comments on social media. After a prison visit to see detained opposition figures in July, Moussa Mara declared on X his unwavering solidarity with prisoners of conscience. Mara, who served as prime minister for 9 months a decade ago, has been a recent outspoken critic of the military government. The junta, in power since coups in 2020 and 2021, dissolved all political parties in May following rare anti-government. On Thursday, Mara was detained and questioned for a second time by the National Cybercrime Unit about his 4 July ex-post. In the post, the ex-prime minister said his regular visits to see those detained were to make sure that the flame of hope never fades in them. Well, we take a short break and we'll be right back with sports news.
Hello, the Information and Communications University, ICU. What comes to your mind when you hear of this name? Is it the beautifully architectured infrastructure at our campus? Or is it the amazing students that are always performing well in their fields? My name is Zimba Emmanuel, and I present to you Alumni Chronicles, a program that gets to look at all students that have passed through the corridors of ICU and are making an impact in society today. Join me every week as I sit down with former students and get to listen to them, what they have to say about life after they've been through the university. Remember, it's Icu TV every week.
Welcome back. And on the sports front, David Warner says Joe Root will need to take the surfboard off his front leg if he and England are to succeed to Australia this winter. Warner, 38, is in England for a stint with London Spirit in the 100, and while he is looking forward to calling Lords home for a month, he could not resist a gentle dig at former Ashes rivals. England face Australia in the Ashes from late November, when they will attempt to win back the urn for the first time in 10 years. Warner told BBC Sport that the big anchor there was Rooty, England batter Joe Root, who had yet to score 100 in Australia. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the Icu TV main news. Let's take a look at the stories that made headlines. 2-year-old girl perishes in Lusangazi house fire. President Boko highlights regional unity and climate resilience at Zambia's 97th Agricultural Show. NCZ fertilizer equipment set for completion by August 17. And in international news, Trump fires lead official on economic data as tariffs cause market drop. And on the sports front, Warner fires Ashes jibe at England's route. When we come to the end of the ICU TV main news, please do follow us. Please do follow us on ICU TV, that is on Facebook, and ICU TV ZM on YouTube. And you can also catch us on our website that is icutvzm.com. I've been your anchor this evening, Maluba Eric J. Mwanamjende. Please do have a lovely weekend.